Welcome to Newslaundry Chhota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. Newslaundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a Newslaundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Welcome to another episode of Hafta on a day which is so news heavy.
Yeah, action packed.
It's completely action packed. In fact, every week is action packed. There's never a dull moment for the last few years.
And what kind of action it is?
So we will...
The quality of action, let us talk about that.
We will talk about that once Manisha gives us the headlines. But before we do that, let me introduce the panel. In the studio today in fact, the studio is in full strength after a long time. We have Manisha Pande.
Hello.
We have Raman Kirpal.
Hi.
And we have Anand Vardhan.
Hello.
Joining us on the phone line from Guwahati is the executive editor of EastMojo, Amit Kumar. Hi, Amit.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
So, Amit
Glad I could be of help.
Yes, always. Those of you who attended the Media Rumble may have already heard Amit earlier. He is an executive at EastMojo, which basically focuses on the 8 northeastern states. He was formerly associated with 2 circles as the executive editor. He's covered politics from the northeastern states and also written for Money Control in the past. And you have been based out there for how long?
I've been in Assam since 2018, but I've started working with EastMojo in 2020.
I see. So, your part of the country has had elections. We shall hear about that in some detail. But before we get to the headlines, I have a couple of announcements. We have a new NL Sena project. It explores the migration of Indians through illegal routes to go to the United States. In fact, there was a couple of deaths associated with people who were trying to get into the USA illegally. We're doing a ground report on that. I hope you will contribute to that Sena project. It is actually a really interesting report. It is tragic. It is the intersection of, a human story, the economic factors, and it has, race relations also, I guess, to be explored. So do contribute to that. And like I've said earlier, you can get a signed copy of The Truth Pill by Dinesh Thakur and Prashant Reddy, which is a book about the rather disturbing drug regulation and safety in India. You have to convince 5 of your friends to get a monthly Newslaundry subscription or gift someone an annual subscription. You can write to us at subscription@newslaundry.com with the names of the 5 people and the email IDs who you have convinced to become subscribers, or the email and name of the person who you have gifted a 1-year subscription to. Once you have checked that is in fact true, you will be sent a signed copy of the Truth Pill. Please make sure that you include the address in the email you send, and the address should be Indian because we are not allowed to ship overseas. We are not saving money. It is a regulatory issue. So, on that note, Manisha, can you give us the headlines and we shall get into discussing many things. But first, we will talk about the elections in the Northeast.
Yes, polling for the 60-member Nagaland Legislative Assembly will take place on February 27th. Meghalaya will also go to polls on the same day. While voting in Tripura was held on February 16th, the election result for the 3 states will be declared on March 2. Amit Shah was in Nagaland and he said hopefully AFSPA will be removed in the next 3 to 4 years. Quite a big announcement to make. Meanwhile, BJP's Meghalaya State President Ernest Mauri has said that he eats beef and the party has no problem with it.
I'm not talking for other state. I think this habit of food habit, it is a state subject. It is not a central subject. So you see, like in our state, from long back, like in our Khasi, Jaintia and Garo, we are having beef. So there is no restriction from the party that why you have beef, anything. There is no restriction in Meghalaya.
Right.
This is only the propaganda of some other party.
Yeah, and was he buttonholed into saying this in a press conference on a mic? Because there is no politically positive outcome for him saying that. I mean, it's not like I eat beef is going to get him votes. That's a given in Meghalaya. But on the contrary, it will have a
Just to
negative...
assuage fears maybe there that, this is not a party that's averse to our culture and what we eat.
I saw the bite. It wasn't like he was cornered into giving this statement. But anyway.
Congress leader Pawan Khera was deplaned from a Delhi-Raipur flight today. and he's been arrested by the Assam police in connection with a case against him over his remarks on PM Modi. This is what he said.
जब नरसिम्हा राव जी जेपीसी बना सकते थे, जब अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी जेपीसी बैठा सकते थे, तो नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी को क्या प्रॉब्लम है? गौतम दास है दामोदर दास, sorry.
So that's landed him in a bit of a soup. This has been discussed on prime time since Monday. And the Supreme Court is going to be hearing the Congress's petition as we speak.
In fact, they should be. It's 3:08 p.m. while we're recording this, and they were supposed to hear it at 3 o'clock. So by the end of this Hafta recording, we will let you know if there has been any outcome. And our reporter tells us the FIR has been filed by someone in Haflong, if I'm not mistaken, saying that social harmony will be, there'll be unrest because of this remark. The Union Minister of Home Affairs has given sanctions to prosecute Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manisha Pande in connection with an alleged case of snooping on political opponents. Meanwhile, Aam Admi Party's Shaili Oberoi is the new mayor of Delhi, while Ale Mohammad Iqbal has been elected as Delhi's deputy mayor. There was complete chaos yesterday in the Delhi House. You saw Aam Admi Party and Bharatiya Janata Party members clashing with each other during the election, and mics being thrown. Quite disturbing scenes. Yeah, it's a all-out battle in the
And
MCD.
Arvind Kejriwal's PA has also been summoned for questioning.
In fact, he's being questioned, I think, Bibhav and Manisha Pande, they're both being questioned at the same time.
Yeah, so there's a lot happening.
No, Manish Sisodia in CBI.
CBI.
And whereas Vaibhav has gone to ED.
Right.
So Delhi is just bustling with activity today, with arrests, deplaning, protests and questioning. The British government has strongly defended the BBC and its editorial freedom in Parliament. We stand up for the BBC, we fund the BBC, we think the BBC World Service is vital. We want the BBC to have the editorial freedom. That's what David Rutley, Parliamentary Under Secretary of the FCDO, said.
BBC, we fund the BBC, we think the BBC World Service is vitally important. That freedom which we believe is vitally important. And that freedom is key. We want to be able to communicate the importance of that with our colleagues, our friends across the world, including the government in India.
And BBC's put out a video explaining how they're funded and how they operate today. In fact, it'll be in the show notes. That's one of my recommendations.
The Nasir and Junaid case has made headlines in newspapers throughout the week. The two Muslim men were allegedly beaten up by Gaurakshaks and then burned to death. The Rajasthan police found their charred bodies and have named men associated with the Bajrang Dal in their FIR. Monu Manesar, a prominent Gaurakshak operating in the new area, is also being linked to this case. The Rajasthan police has been trying to question him, but he's absconding. Monu Manesar, of course, is very, very high profile. He has a YouTube channel where he puts up videos of him chasing cow smugglers, alleged cow smugglers, shooting at them, chanting Jai Shri Ram. He has selfies with the ministers like Anurag Thakur and Amit Shah. And he's worked with the police. He works with bureaucrats. He's part of the civil defense force that tips off the police.
Informers.
So he's quite a noted personality. And there was a Mahapanchayat that was called saying that this man must not be arrested. Haryana police have formed an SIT to look into the allegations of the negligence against crime investigation agency team in connection with these deaths, because according to one of the accused, this is what the Rajasthan police has said, that one of the accused has said that we took these men after beating them up to the Haryana police station, one of the police stations, and we were told to take them away because they were too badly beaten
Besides,
up.
if we see our story done by Anmol, one of the relatives, I think the father of, one of the person who died, he said that he also came to know through police. I mean, our reporter pinpointedly asked, how do you know that it was Monu Manesar? So he said that I came to know only through the Haryana police. They told me that they were first brought here. Monu Manesar and other people had brought them to this police station. So he is the second person, who confirmed it.
And instead of being slapped with an attempt to murder case, they were asked to take away the men. कि हमारे थाने में कुछ ना हो जाए. The Election Commission on Friday recognized the faction led by Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde as the real Shiv Sena and allowed it the bow and arrow symbol. Soon after the announcement, former Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray launched a strong attack on the Election Commission. He said it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's slave. He's also approached the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has refused to stay the EC's order meanwhile. The Supreme Court on Thursday upheld a Madras High Court order from September that allowed AIADMK leader Edapadi K. Palaniswamy to continue as the interim General Secretary of the outfit. BJP veteran leader And former Chief Minister of Karnataka, B.S. Yediyurappa, resigned from the party on Wednesday and delivered a very emotional farewell speech. And he said, after session today, I will not be coming to the assembly again. And this is my last appearance.
I saw
him cry last year also. Not last year. The last time that when this whole ruckus happened with him.
I think after a certain age in the BJP,
crying.
Yeah, it's important. So even Modi ji cries every now and then. Advani cried each time he watched a film. Any film he watched, anything he said about his past, Advani ji was crying.
He used to cry, really?
Oh, dude, he was like always crying. In fact, the satire shows that I used to write, we used to make him cry in every episode. And
soft man.
But Satish Acharya, that is so sexist. Just because a man cries, he's a soft man. So you're saying
soft-hearted man, yeah.
So crying is
a
woman
can also be soft-hearted if she cries
is it
a
a
lot?
sign of soft-heartedness?
Yeah, crying.
Crying. No, it's not.
Well, it's a soft heart. You want to cry at anything that you see.
No, I think some of the most cruel people cry all the time. I think so. I think crying is an act of extreme self-indulgence. It's that's all crying is. You only cry for yourself. No one sheds tears for anybody.
No, cry in front of you ever. Stop this selfishness. Okay, the combined value of Adani Group's companies fell below the $100 billion mark. Stunning fall continues.
It was 90 billion, I think, day before.
Yeah, but yesterday again there was a collapse. Yeah. Also in Australia, they are kind of looking into there has been some pushback because Australia's state bodies have invested their government employees, Provident Fund and whatever their retirement funds like they do in the West, and a significant amount of exposure to Adani companies.
And LIC's investment in Adani Enterprises would increase to 4.23%. The state-controlled corporation is spending about 3 billion rupees as an anchor investor in a 2.5 billion new share sale by Adani Enterprise Limited.
Right.
George Soros is making news in India after he said that Modi and Adani are close allies and that Modi is no Democrat. And since then, everyone from Smriti Irani to Jaishankar to Arnab have been telling us what an evil, dangerous man he is.
Yeah.
And how he's out to control everything. So that's happened. Seattle on Tuesday became the first city in the United States to ban caste discrimination after its local council voted to add caste to the city's non-discrimination laws. So big victory there for anti-caste activists.
In fact, a lot of pushback was received because of Indians raising the caste issue in America from, the privileged caste people here saying that, in fact, the professor who talks of everything he doesn't know anything about, he should be on Hafta with us actually. Babonis. He also weighed in all this caste issue. Of course, if someone were to ask him what is caste, tell us I'm not sure how much he'd know, but yeah, it was a big thing. But let's start with you, Amit. Where was he all this time? Why is he suddenly relevant this election?
He was, first I'd like to tell you that he was never irrelevant in the sense that he was always in the picture. But as is often the case with Congress leaders, he was in Congress, right, earlier. And as is often the case with Congress leaders, they tend to spend more time in, in the capital than in the region. So last election, for example, even though he was in Congress, it didn't really matter much. In fact, Tripura didn't even exist. Tripura as we know Tripura now. It was only post the CA protest and the subsequent CA NRC issue that we emerged in the Northeast, which, as you know, was a huge issue in the Northeast. And our approach here was very different from the mainland.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get into that detail right now. But after that, Tripura Motha came in, and essentially what Tripura Motha has done is it's taken an existing issue which was interestingly used by the existing tribal party which is in power right now with the BJP, IPFT, the Indigenous People's Front of Tripura. Their plank in 2018, apart from being anti-left, was also to demand a separate state called Tripura land for the indigenous people. And they said that if we come to power, we will be able to get this.
Okay.
After 2018, however, they realized that the BJP was absolutely not interested in their demand. And despite trying to come across as the parties which are actually fighting for Tripura land, IPFT leaders became too comfortable by becoming ministers. They had 8 MLAs, and out of them, at least at one point, 4 of them were ministers or heads of departments and stuff like that. So that demand started dying down. That is what Tripura did. It identified, almost like a commercial thing. It identified a gap in the market, put it on, to use the word, put that demand on steroids and turned it into a greater Tripura land. In 2023, I see Tripura as the most interesting elections because, we were also very surprised. We did a live show on the day of counting, and the polling numbers were coming very slow. But by the time the final numbers were tallied, we were shocked that the polling numbers was 86%.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
really.
So at 9 o'clock, just to give you an example, at 9 a.m., when the first data came, it was barely 30%. Then it went up to 32%. And then by 4 p.m., we were getting 60 plus. And my correspondent is like, sir, I mean, the lines are never ending. Like, so no way. And the thing is, technically, the election was supposed to get over at 5 o'clock. But again, India standard time, our sun sets much faster than your sun. So, there was no way it was going to get over at 4 or 5. We had elections going on almost, polling going on till late in the night also. And when you saw 86%, everybody was surprised. And I was lucky enough to cover elections in 2016 in Assam. And I was in Barak Valley, which is like far from Guwahati side. And at 6 o'clock, the election officer, when he was walking in and the other people already there, the moment he saw that line, he told me casually, Congress is not coming back. Because he said that if this is the turnout, then people are voting against the government.
But there was a lot of MLAs flipped after the election, right?
In Assam.
Oh,
In
sorry,
which
we're talking
state?
about Assam right now.
No, he was talking about his time.
No, I'm just
while covering.
I was talking about Tripura. I'm saying that the number, I was just commenting on the high turnover. The high turnover has made the election very interesting in Tripura. 6 months ago, we were almost sure that the BJP is coming to power, and for all I know, BJP might come to power with even more majority, even bigger majority.
So right now, in the
Tripura.
Tripura Assembly, out of 60 seats, BJP has 33.
Yeah, and IPFT has 4, I think. remaining.
IPFT has 4,
Yeah.
correct. Now, all these BJP leaders, I mean, I know at least in Arunachal, because I bumped into a politician from there who has moved to the BJP recently. He used to be with the Congress. And he was explaining that we're not ideological. We just want a seat at the table. So, of course, this whole Hindutva, this thing really disgusts him. But somehow he says it's not in my scheme of things as an important aspect.
No, it's not.
When I pick which way to go. So now...
I was saying that the BJP is coming to strength in Northeast is completely on the back of Congress leaders. So if you count Nephew Rio's tenure in Congress long back, he was there until 2002. If I count Rio as an ex-Congress person, then 5 of the 8 chief ministers are from Congress.
Yeah, so out of these 33 seats that in Tripura that the BJP has, how many of them are previously Congress candidates who flipped and joined the BJP, and how many?
Abhinandan, it's actually difficult for me to tell you that, because when you find out that they were ex-Congress, then you realize 2 years ago they were ex-another organization. Now I'll give you an example.
In Northeast, one regional party which is trying to occupy a part of the national challenge, the alternative national challenger, so is TMC, which despite its efforts has not made the serious inroads into Northeast. Since it's a Kolkata-based party, the eastern part of the country should have been its natural electoral habitat. But that has not materialized. In Meghalaya, I think it managed to win away some Congress MLAs practically by raiding it. But its problem is that in Meghalaya, it's also seen as a Bengali party, and where identity politics matter. It had some influence in Garo Hills, I think, but beyond that, in Tripura also, it has not made headway to the extent that it would have liked. Now, for BJP, not letting TMC have a foot in the door is important, because even if it's 5 MPs territory, if TMC is influential enough in these states, it somehow improves its profile as a national challenger, because Eastern part, it can claim that we have influence in Northeast and West Bengal, and so most of the regional parties which are in the national challenge race don't have a very solid all India profile or even a regional profile.
So there is a separate allocation even for programming about those areas, because we were doing a lot of history and travel related, we were putting in proposals about, the Grand Trunk Road history of this. They said all that is fine, but you put something about the history of Northeast or Kashmir, there is a high likelihood of you getting a show.
But still, I think it's quite minuscule. Even 7,000 crore, as you say.
Back then, now I don't know how much
maybe
it is.
10-20% of it, is towards these kind of
Programming.
activities. But otherwise, I think most of the money goes into security,
Which is a
maintaining
black
security.
hole. Which you never know
which
which.
is a black hole. Which is a black hole.
In 2002 or 3, under Vajpayee government, there was a separate ministry for Northeast development, and that was quite a front catcher. I think Dr. C.P. Thakur headed it. Around 2002, 2003, they had created a separate ministry. So its profile went up.
Manisha, your take?
Well, no take, but I had a question for Amit. Nagaland's an interesting state because of the alliance between BJP and NDPP. And you said that it's an opposition-less state, right? Like there's no opposition there.
Yeah. So what happened is the opposition less happened, like you can say it in two ways. One, the NPF basically joined into NDPP. So all the opposition MLAs became part of the ruling coalition. And the opposition less assembly was also a way to show that we are united on finding a solution to the Naga political crisis.
And it's
So
a majority
it was-
Christian state. So I guess
Absolutely,
my question was, in fact, we have an interesting piece by Nona Arre on our website where she's spoken to a bunch of workers in the BJP and supporters who say that,
Yeah.
look, we've realized that BJP is not a religious party, it's a political party. So we're very happy to have them here. So how has the BJP made itself attractive in this Christian majority state?
When power and brute strength is your only weapon, just like I've said, Manmohan Singh, you asked him, sir, aaj garmi bahut hai, privatize kar do, weather ko privatize kar do, it will get solved. Privatization was his solution to everything. SCZs, water crisis, because he didn't know anything else. When brute strength is your only strength, anything that you see as a loss, you will go for full scorched earth. And whether it is Pawan Khera being offloaded, and he was offloaded saying that there's a problem with your luggage. Once he came down, pakad liya, ab jane nahi denge, police. Abhi sale upar hi bata do, we are arresting you. Like, what the fuck is this, You say there is a problem with your luggage. He comes out, luggage nahi, to arrest karna hai. मतलब ऐसा इस किस्म का टुच्चापन है. Anyone who's under the impression that Mr. Modi, even if he loses an election, will go peacefully, is living in a dream. If they can do what they do in the states, even for leaders who are not that important, if they ever lose in the center, they will burn the country to the ground rather than relinquish authority. That is my theory, and I think the last 2 days have completely proved that. That is my. What is your view,
After
sir?
that
No,
declaration.
when it comes to power, I think we yet to see the kind of aggression that this party can come up with. I mean, we have already been seeing the sense of authoritarianism in every action that they do. If you just follow Enforcement Directorate ED, which has really unleashed itself against all kind of politicians, and if you just see the pace of investigation which is happening in cases of politician is pretty faster, whereas the other cases are pending for many years. If you just go to the ED court, you will come to know about that. So I think when it comes to power, is complete vendetta politics that this party is pursuing, and I think we are yet to see much more authoritarianism. They can come to any extent, and we will see it by 2024 in case they are not winning.
I don't know the name of that lady from the BJP, but the one who's she's the BJP MCD councillor who's according the mic. I mean, it's on video.
Yeah.
I
want to point out here, one municipal corporation of Delhi. If you just, because I happen to know many people who have been working, with MCD money, they are jobless right now. They don't have any work. It's in such a pathetic situation, and in fact, all these contractors, everybody wanted one party to win, like Aam Aadmi party to win, so that if the Delhi government and MCD, if AAP is there, and they will be able to get some work. So these people are jobless, and here are the politicians who are fighting for for power.
Manisha, what do you make of the developments?
the
Will you ever make a joke about Modi ji again?
No, so we were discussing with Atul that maybe we should stop calling him Dankapati. Because, because I mean, this arrest of Pawan Khera is just ridiculous. He just called him Gautam Das here.
Yeah, I don't see what...
And it's not insulting, it's not an abuse.
Even if it's an insulting, it's...
Yeah, I mean, it's not an abuse or जैसे the way the television media also played it up कि गाली दे दी उनके पिताजी के बारे में ऐसे बोल दिया because his father's name is Damodar Das, but obviously he was just being, quippy. And the number of things that the BJP has said about Sonia and Rahul, Vish Kanya, Pappu, पता नहीं क्या-क्या बोला हुआ है spokespersons. So irrespective of what you think of what he said, arrest is just, to me,
in Parliament, Amit Shah said कि पप्पू कहना कोई गाली है क्या? ऐसे
but I don't understand what is the upside of this political. I mean, it's just
because actually no one would have noticed that comment.
No, it's a display of brute strength. What else is it? I mean, is there a political expediency? Is there a political upside? Is it we are pandering to? It's just a display that if you say anything, this is what we do. And I mean, there is so unless someone can give a very specific theory that this is what it does politically, it's just brute strength.
No, Abhi, you always always try to see these things in terms of how they are gaining politically. You always talk about it. Na? They don't. That's what I feel. I mean, they are not looking at the political gains. This is the heavy. They just want to rule with the heavy hand.
All of you listening in, the Chhota Hafta, do subscribe so you can listen to the entire Hafta. We will see you again next week with the Hafta. Till then, subscribe, pay to keep news free, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Thank you. Goodbye.
All the Newslaundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to Newslaundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs, and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Sun liya Afrika, mufat khoro. Not to brag or anything, but Newslaundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free. All Newslaundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.